Brett Dawson from Sellout Crowd here at Paycom Center, where the Thunder is a 107-101 loser to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tough night for OKC. This is a team that looked really tired coming off that pretty tough loss to Detroit, the first win Detroit got all season against a team with a winning record. OKC has to come back the very next day after a matinee game, so you get a little bit of rest, more than a traditional back-to-back. But this is a team that didn't look like it had its legs tonight. The Wolves were the much better team down the stretch, and even though the Timberwolves are going through a tough January as well, everybody in the NBA really is. They kind of dug down, made the plays they had to make down the stretch to win this game. A 9-0 run in the final couple of minutes. The Thunder got some garbage points after that, but that was really the decisive stretch. A monstrous dunk by Anthony Edwards that came after a three-point shot by Jaden McDaniels that really changed the game in Minnesota's favor. And the Timberwolves walk out of here with a big win and first place in the Western Conference. The Thunder dropped down to second. Really a fun night, despite the fact that both offenses kind of were slogging through a lot of the time. That was particularly true in stretches for the Thunder, which just didn't get much out of the starting lineup outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was excellent with 37 points. Jalen Williams, J-Dub, was pretty good with 20 points, had some very good stretches and some rough ones. And the rest of the starting five, just not very good. Lou Dort didn't make a shot all night. Chet Holmgren struggled a ton, both finishing around the rim, with Rudy Gobert contesting a lot of his shots, and then also behind the three-point line, very hesitant. Took a pretty ill-advised one late in the game, but also passed up some really good ones over the course of the game. Josh Giddey, another game where we saw a team play at center, Rudy Gobert, in a lot of cases on Josh Giddey. Technically, that was his defensive assignment, but wasn't really guarding him, giving him a lot of space. Giddey made his first three-pointers of the night, and then didn't make another one, finished 3 for 7. He was really the third best offensive player in the starting lineup tonight, but a pretty big distance between him and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams. Really the best that OKC played was in the third quarter, fell behind, and then really roared back to take the lead. And that was a lineup with SGA, with J-Dub, with Jalen Williams, with Cason Wallace, and Isaiah Joe. And Isaiah Joe left the game with an injury, undisclosed injury, not sure what happened with him. Jalen Williams, ultimately, J-Dub, left the game as well with an injury, apparent ankle injury. Didn't get updates on either player in the postgame, so we'll see what happens there. But those Thunder lineups, Aaron Wiggins also came in for Joe at one point, and those lineups really played pretty well. A lot of defensive energy, but even when they were playing pretty well, it was because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and then Jalen Williams were really doing all the heavy lifting offensively. Nobody else really stepped up to give them a lot of help tonight. And so it was just one of those nights. The offense wasn't really going. The Wolves made a lot of plays at the very end of the game to win. And the Thunder, which, again, looks like a really tired team, struggled to close this thing out. After the game, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander talked about, for a lot of guys, they've got some young guys who haven't been in the league very much or haven't been in the league at all, who are in their rotation. And this has been a brutal January, already 16 months. If you think about Chet Holmgren at Gonzaga, the last time he played a full season of organized basketball, that's a 7 or 8 game month, January. Here you've played 16 already, one more to go. Chet's played in every game this year. And so you think about the workload on him. I think the fatigue has started to set in a little. Mark Daigneault didn't want to say that, but it looked that way. He looked tired. The Thunder looked tired. Everybody is tired right now. But as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander said, the NBA doesn't care. Your opponents don't care. Nobody cares how physically tired you are, how much you've been through this month. Because with the way the NBA schedule works this year, with the in-season tournament requiring quite a few days off and pretty long gaps in games, everybody has kind of a contracted January. Some teams have handled it really well, and some teams like the Thunder, the Thunder's had a pretty good month, but 10-6 after today. A tough loss tonight, but really compounded by that loss to Detroit. When you lose to a team that bad, Detroit's played much better, but they haven't beaten a team nearly as good as the Thunder all season, and they kind of ran them off the floor. So that compounded with this makes it a pretty tough start to the week, and it can get worse because the Denver Nuggets are coming to town. So we talk about Chet Holmgren and maybe some fatigue setting in. He's still got a really tough assignment left this week. He's going to have to guard Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. Thunder have not lost 3 straight games all season. That's going to be put to the test Wednesday. We'll see what happens with Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe and their health. And we'll see how the Thunder bounces back. We're going to have a lot more coverage at Sellout Crowd and here on my YouTube channel. Make sure to check that out. Make sure to subscribe if this is your first time checking out these post-game videos. We do them after every home game and road games when we travel. So check out those rapid reactions and check out all the coverage at selloutcrowd.com.